recording?
We are recording.
The clap has happened.
Look at that.
Hello again, everyone.
Wow.
Welcome to another episode of Midnight Movie Distillery.
Whoa.
Is that a creepy enough there?
I like it.
There,
Happy
some laughing in
October,
there.
everybody. Happy October.
I'm one of your hosts, Logan Lynch.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah, I think
You forget that a lot, do you?
Yeah.
Getting old,
I know
are we?
my name.
No, he doesn't.
I don't think you do.
Warwick Price.
Wait for it. There it is.
And this is Lon Black. What are we doing today, Warren?
Today we are reviewing the movie Pumpkinhead.
Woo! Pumpkinhead. To kind of go along with October.
Yeah, kind of
And
very
What
poignant.
happens in October? I don't get, is there something that goes on that month? It just seems kind of like a
You mean
fall
like if
month.
somebody had like a store?
Something like that,
That
yeah.
was
I think
centered
that'd be.
around that?
I think that would be a good plug for.
For who?
I don't know. Who's got...
I guess me. I
There's
guess me.
something... I thought there was something
Are we
in
going to
St.
plug
Charles
you?
somewhere.
What are you doing?
You-
Talk
you-
about it already. Christ.
You
we're
can
dancing around this shit.
you can plug me as much as you'd like.
Oh, my
Ew.
God.
So
Oh,
as
dear God.
as many of you know, my wife and I own. Oh, let me switch over.
There it is.
Ghoulish Models at 228 West Main Street, St. Charles, Illinois.
Those are
Look
live
at those
pictures, by
cool
the way.
scenes in there. Look at that.
because it shouldn't be like jumping quite like that. Cause that
Oh,
was,
is it not smooth
that's-
enough
that's-
for
no,
you?
we want some
Ooh,
smooth,
there it is.
smooth
He
animation.
wants to be a smooth ghoulish model.
Smooth
So as you
ghoulish
can see
model.
from these awesome pictures, we are a horror and monster store, and we sell lots of kind of cool art prints and jewelry and pins and books and purses and a whole bunch of like super cool
Backpacks.
stuff.
Come on.
Purses, tons of stuff. We literally, I'm not kidding. We have
Stickers,
about
patches.
8,500 products.
Woo!
Yeah, you
in
can't name it
inventory.
all.
No, I certainly
And
can't.
you have
Yeah, but
not
just
seen-
an entire episode of you naming everything you
And you have not seen a store as cool as this one ever, I guarantee.
Right.
You have never seen a store
It's
this
one
cool.
of these weird things where it's like,
You're gonna like what you see.
We
I
have an
guarantee
online
it.
store where you can buy a lot of the items that we sell, but there is nothing quite like the experience of walking into the store.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
And we have well over 150 artists in the store. About 70% of them are local, and one of the best artists, and certainly the artist that probably has the most products in the store, is Black Mountain Brands.
Ooh, they sound cool.
Who are they?
This guy over here.
You're not showing.
tell.
You're not pointing.
Do tell.
You're looking at the screen.
No,
they
I-
can't see you.
I was gonna say they
The
can't
screen
Oh,
that they're seeing.
yeah,
is
we've got
Ghoulish
your-
Morning.
Sorry.
They don't see you pointing.
Wah.
You want
Okay.
to switch back to us real quick?
Okay, let me just switch back so I can go.
There you go.
This guy.
Oh, there you go. Okay, now it
Over
makes
here.
sense.
Over
Now
here.
they see what's going on.
Now we know what you're
But as
Yeah.
well as Black
gives me
Mountain
time to
Brands,
switch.
Lon, what else do you do?
I am the owner of,
Yeah, dude.
with my wife, Monster Purge Halloween attraction. You get to ride a monster truck through the woods and shoot paintballs at live action monsters and zombies.
That is not a good enough promotion. I want to do this here.
All right,
Ready?
let's
You ready
hear
for
it.
this?
Yep.
Sunday. We are at Monster Purge. You want to shoot people in the crotch? Come right over. We've got paintballs. It hurts them, but it won't hurt you. Come on down. Boom. There. That's what you want to do.
We
Come on.
give you the entire seat, but you'll only need the edge.
I mean, look at what they get to do. And by the
See,
way,
look at
we
this
were
promotion.
named
No, it is a
Haunted
blast.
Attraction of the Year 2022 by Haunted House Chicago.
And you're going to get it for 2023, I'm sure.
There you go.
Well,
Go on,
it
go
won't-
on.
We can't do
everybody.
new
It
Haunted
won't
House
be
anymore.
new Haunted
You could
Attraction.
switch back to us.
No,
They're
yeah.
gonna just change the name to Monster Purge or something, and then they'll
Monster Purge 2.
You can't
Yeah,
see.
MP
They have
MP2s.
rules about that. They can't even just change location and say we're a new haunt because we're in a new location.
Wow.
Anyway, it is.
People I thought of already.
Honestly, you have to do it. If you're in the area, it is a must-do
Even if you're not,
event.
fly it in a plane. Get over here.
It is super cool. Something you've never done before. It's like
You're shooting
phenomenal.
paintballs at monsters. What else can? What else do you
what
need?
more
Throw a
could-
monster truck in there. Come on.
What
Yeah.
more could you ask for?
What was the height on that thing?
It is a. Thank you for asking, by the way, Logan. 13
it's not
feet
about the
wide,
size.
14
That's what you
feet
do.
high, and 50 feet long. 38 guns.
Jesus.
And man, when you're on the bus and all 38 of those guns are going off at the exact same time, it sounds like Armageddon.
I was gonna say we might recommend if you have any, if you've been to Vietnam or any other previous wars, you may get shell shock.
It's especially with monsters approaching the
PTSD.
bus. Kids lose their mind. We do have 6 and up. You have to be able to look out the window and shoot your gun at the same time without falling out of a monster truck bus. So we do have an age limit, but really it's a lot of the adults that come out here, and they just love shooting.
I just know when I went and did it, getting off of it, everybody was smiling and laughing. And having a good time. They had a blast.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Highly recommend.
Super cool.
All right.
Okay,
We're done with our
moving
plugs.
on.
So, what was the movie again?
This
with
Pumpkinhead.
Pumpkinhead.
Pumpkinhead. And
Pumpkinhead.
we also do something else when we review movies.
We do.
Yes.
What else do we do?
We pair it with a whiskey of a sort.
What a great idea.
Now, let me tell you something. We've been over the past few weeks when we've been recording these things, we've had some hits and some misses.
Mm-hmm.
I have very high hopes for this one.
I
was thinking the same thing.
high hopes.
High in the sky.
This, not technically, but actually, is a monster movie.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Because it's got one of my favorite monsters of all time in it. So we have now got Peat Monster.
Oh, you son of a bitch!
We got it. You want to shut the camera over this side? You want to?
Whoa, this is not the. Is this the cask? Did you get the cask?
I did not.
Oh, good.
So
I wanted
here's
to
the
try
thing.
the non-cask.
So this is it. Logan and I went to World of Whiskeys. You can cut back now.
Oh God, I got
Went to World of Whiskeys, where we tried the best whiskey in the show, in the whole show, was Peat Monster Cask Strength.
So I'm going to throw this out there because I have to brag about this. We were standing 5, 6 vendors away, and I saw this label, and we happened to be walking by, and I said, "I've got to see this. We got to try," because obviously we had already paid to try it. So I'm like, we got to get some of this. As we're getting ready to do this, the person comes out and says, "Oh wait, you're going to want the cask version of this."
Yeah.
And pulls out the cask version, which that
Cask Strength.
I could possibly guess that one, but I don't want to ruin that. We'll get to that. But the cask version was $179 for the bottle.
Yeah.
And oh my God,
Worth every penny, I'd say.
so good. So
Yeah.
I'm interested. So I wanted to try the non-cask one, but I'm like, I didn't want to also taint because my taste buds were already, for the cask version.
I thought you were going to say you've already tasted the taint.
No, my taint did fluctuate a little while I drank the cask version, but that's neither here nor there.
So
Can we get to the tasting?
Oh, yeah.
we have to actually open it.
Because a certain somebody didn't go with us.
I didn't
know
go
anybody that didn't go with
because
us.
I had to work like a normal person.
A bullshit. Can we insert that kid going a bullshit?
So
Anyway.
the thing with this one is that
No
it is a
editing.
Scotch. First of all, we didn't even talk about this too much. It is a Scotch. It's an Islay Scotch, I think. Let me see. Complex, peaty, smoky. No kidding. Blended. It is a blended malt Scotch whiskey. Product of Scotland, though, obviously, because it has to be. But this is a 46%, so it's not super
Potent.
super strong. But we're talking peat and smoke up the wazoo.
Okay.
So let's open this sucker up. I'm so excited.
I think we're at the point now where we can start to guess. Do we think this is going to be a good cork pull?
Oh, I think so. See,
I'm thinking-
a lot of that could be the shape of the bottle, and I get a little nervous about that. But
Yeah. I mean,
so and this is by Compass Box, which, by the way, before seeing this label and trying it at the, I've never heard of Compass Box.
Now that looks light to me.
It's very light, isn't it?
So
like
yeah.
almost Japanese whiskey, like.
Yeah.
So-
exactly. Spot on that.
Let's see. Brimming with peat, smoke, character, accents, fruits, baking, spice, balanced, full palate, sweet
Did you say
expressions.
bacon spice?
Baking.
Oh, I was like, bacon spice.
I was going to say, fuck, I'm sold.
Yeah, absolutely.
They do recommend a little an ice cube or a splash of water.
Nope. We go all out here.
But
Neat, bitches.
we like it neat, is what they say.
There, that's our new slogan. Neat, bitches.
Neat, bitches. We should put that on a shirt.
We should.
We don't know anybody that does like marketing
So they don't
stuff.
mention anything about what it's blended, which ones it's blended with, but it is all Scotch whiskey. So it's, and it's got John Glazer's name on it, and John Glazer is the founder and whiskey master.
Sounds like the monster truck is outside of us right now.
I think so.
Yeah, I don't think they can hear that. Maybe they can.
All right, here we
hear
go.
that. All right, let's try it. Oop,
All right, we got to get it right on the mic here.
Not tight. That was
Nah.
good. That was good.
Not as deep.
Not as good as the last one.
A little higher
Oh,
pitch.
holy shit.
Uh-oh.
Okay. I'm getting excited.
He's trying to not give out too much, but he's giving out too much.
Oh,
Excited.
jeez. There is some peat in there.
There's some peat in that. And this, we've been discovering that seems to be Logan's thing,
Apparently.
is the heavy peated.
He does love peat.
That takes me back. That takes me back to, what was it, Lincoln Park?
Let's pour a little bit in there. Let's get a little heavy pour in there. That's what I'm talking about. That's
Nice.
Yeah,
a little extra.
Yeah. All right, let's. So now this is not the cask strength,
So now,
but
do you agree though? Most of the time when we smell it in the bottle, it's a little different than.
Absolutely, it is because you're talking a difference.
Get some air in it.
Right, get some air and it gets a little.
But now.
Wow, that is very peaty.
Right, but see, okay, I'm excited.
All right,
Let's go.
Yes, let's try. Okay, we do two to three sips before we give a full our number. Actually, we'll give our barrel. Okay.
Holy shit!
So
that's very interesting because it's
That's a Peat in the face.
but it's funny because it has similar kind of tones to the Port Charlotte, but without the smokiness to it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's an interesting concept or that thought on that because you're right. Peat and smoke kind of go hand in hand when you're talking scotches. We talked a little bit about this before. They take peat off the bogs in Scotland. They dry it out. They use that as a charcoal. They burn that in order to smoke the grain before making the mash. So technically, peat and smoke usually go hand in hand. But you're right. I'm not getting a ton of smoke.
No.
I'm getting a ton of peat.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
I wonder if they mix the peat in the mash somehow.
Well, I mean, it talks about
Because Port Charlotte,
Benny's hiding this right now. So.
yes,
They can't see it.
heavily peated.
Heavily peated. Well, this is peat monster, so that's more than heavily peated. It's a monster.
Yeah, I
of
wonder,
peat.
wonder where those
Right?
scales.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
There's also a Pete Godzilla. Sorry.
It's just called Peatzilla.
Peatzilla.
Yeah.
Hey.
Went to high school with a
could
guy named Peatzilla.
Really? He liked pizza?
Oh.
All right. Okay.
I went to high school with a kid called Just In Case. It's actually his real name.
I knew a Justin Rice, and his parents considered making his middle name a minute. It would have been Justin a minute Rice.
So,
Anyway.
since we're on that thread,
Oh, God.
I used to work at a pharmacy
Oh,
in high
geez,
school.
That explains so much.
And one of the things, so I got a lot of names that came in, and I'm not kidding you. There was a family that was the Beach family. The dad's name was Beach.
Oh, my God.
He married a woman named Sandy. They had a boy and a girl, Rocky and Pebble.
No.
And his name was Bob.
That's awesome.
Bob Beach.
Bob Beach. And it's his name Beach, but everybody else he married and brought and named, they all had related.
So he
with
had
the
a
beach,
son of a
but-
beach.
Yeah, he had a son. He had a couple.
Son
of
of
a
a
beach.
beach.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Rocky was the son of a beach.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
This is a weird one for me
It is weird. I agree.
because
it's
well,
Oh.
it's got a certain styling to it.
Fuck, I can't. Well, yeah. No.
Yeah, I'm torn on a
Yeah, I went from one number to two. I think I'm going two numbers.
Yeah, I'm going two numbers.
Only because of something, and we already
I'm
explained
going
that.
two
But
numbers.
all right, so we're gonna give barrels
Yep.
as our review.
Oh
And-
yeah, in case you haven't seen
in
the
case
show.
you haven't watched any of the other episodes.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
If this is your first time,
Okay.
strap on a condom.
Don't you say 1,
1,
2.
3.
bam.
Do I have that right? I do.
Fucker.
I do.
I thought I
Logan.
had it right. Logan gave it a 3.5.
Warwick
bitch.
gave it a 4.1.
Lon gave it a
Okay.
4.2. Clearly, Warwick and I know what Scotch is.
So,
Let's
here's
hear
my
it.
here's my issue.
Let's hear it. Issue. You still gave it a pretty high
I
rating
have
for
the
an
cask. I've had the cask version.
issue. I did. Oh, so you're doing the Warwick thing.
I'm going
I've
Warwick
had
style.
some
That's
I'm going.
what I do.
So wait. So
I
do I need
can't
to
rate
give
this
my
high.
review in his voice? Be like,
Oh my
so,
God.
I've had the cask style, so I don't think it's very
Okay,
good.
Harry Potter.
Yeah. Pete Monstrum, not as good as Cascum. I don't know. Is that a? I don't.
I don't know. What
I don't do
that is.
Harry
I don't
Potter.
know what you're talking
Anyway, no, I didn't. I do like this. Now, if I had to choose between this and Port Charlotte, which maybe that might happen sooner than I think, I'm
the next
honestly.
episode.
This is the very fucking tough decision. I'm not even going to make the decision here because I don't know yet.
Well, I technically made the decision with my vote.
I honestly, see
I
that.
think I'd
I did
agree with that.
So as you can see, I did originally have a single number. Do you want to know what that number was?
4.
3.
It was a 4.
Yeah.
I'm just making fun of him.
So you wait a minute. What did
so
you give it a 3.5?
The reason I gave it a 3.5 was
Okay.
because it did not have the smokiness. that I wanted. I like the peat.
You wanted both.
I like the peat.
Right.
Now, my question is, I don't remember if there was smokiness in the cask version. I'm assuming probably not.
I don't think so, because that's the whole thing.
And I think it just had. I think the Peat Monster cask had less burn. Probably there's a lot of extra burn in this.
Oh, really?
Wait a minute.
I
We're
think
talking cask strength. That's got to have more burn.
Really?
But the
Oh my
problem,
God.
not the problem, but the bonus of that, or the benefit of that, is that it was more flavor too, because they didn't dilute it, water it down. So to me, there was that magic. When you dilute something, when I say dilute, we're talking proofing it, right? So proofing means you got to bring it down to a certain standard. When you're talking bourbon has to be between certain range of proof. It has to be like 47%.
If I did this, so if I did a 3 point plus 5 plus 7, so if I could have, I would have given it probably a 3.75.
Why not go full 4 then?
I would save the 4 for the cask, to be honest.
But you're pulling a fucking Warwick.
No.
Then.
The only reason is because I've had the better
you.
version. Not. No,
I mean that
no,
with all the
Warwick,
love of
I'm
baby
defending
Jesus
you.
in my
Warwick,
heart.
I'm defending you on this one. This is more of a. I've had the same version, but better. You know what I mean? Like, so if I had a Port
Let me
Charlotte
ask you
that
this.
was maybe the SCO1,
Let me
somebody
ask
needs to
you
go
this.
out and get it.
Do you remember what that tastes like at this point? How many months ago did we do that event?
But that's how.
Do you remember the taste?
Yes.
So if you had this taste, that does not bring it back enough for you to say, well, that brings back the taste.
See,
but not as flavorful.
No. Basically, yes. That to me, it brings back that taste, but it's missing something. Is why I gave it a 3.5. And that something is that little bit of the cask.
Okay.
I can guarantee. Which I don't know if that means I'm getting better at this shit, or if that means
what
I
did
just
you give Port Charlotte? Do you remember?
I think did I give that a 4? No, I think I gave it a 3.5.
I think I gave it a 4.
Yeah, I gave it a 4
I think I gave it a 3.5. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm gonna have to save that for something else. But I'm very torn right now. But it's still very good. I am not gonna diminish that in any way, shape, or form. But to me, a 4 and above is that fucking Peat Monster cask was like, that was something that if I had $179 sitting there with me, I would have bought that bottle immediately.
Dude, if I could have found that, now I don't love you guys that much to buy a $200 bottle of
No, you're supposed to say
Scotch and
I could
share
never
with you.
find that. That's why.
Damn
I didn't
it!
get
I
it.
But that
searched
is-
and searched.
But that part is true, that I couldn't find it anyway. Because
Sure.
if I had found it, I would have bought this for the show, and then I would have bought the bottle for myself.
Man, you
But-
teased the shit out of me. As soon as you whipped that out, I was like,
I know, dude. That's I brought it up purposefully in the last show or a couple shows ago or
for
whatever.
me, it would have been more like a.
Because we were talking because I wanted to. Hey,
I said for me.
hey, just to tease you with it because I know you got excited about it, and I was just as excited, dude. When I found this
But
one in
tell
the
me,
store,
look at that
I was
fucking bottle.
excited.
Look at the bottle. Look at the,
Yeah,
the
look
drawing
at
on
that
that.
little-
That is something I feel like
that
ghoulish
awesome?
mortals should have in their.
The artwork is
Why
amazing.
don't we
Exactly,
have? Why don't you
exactly.
guys have wines and shit here?
That would be
Because
because
they need a liquor license,
liquor license for that.
and that costs a lot of money.
Fuck.
A couple $1,000 a year.
So-
Liquor up front, poker in the rear.
So for me,
Yeah, sorry,
I gave Port Charlotte a 4, and I was like let's call it mass debate.
Let's
Was
call it that. That's
do
a
I
good
give it a
call.
4 or do I give it a 4.5? Sorry, yeah, a 4.1.
You gave it a 1.
Sure.
Right, 4.1.
So I gave it 4.1 because it's funny because out of the two, I think I do prefer this. I think the smokiness was at the time.
I'm thinking somebody should save that for a finishing the bottle episode.
We are kind of comparing the two early, but
right.
there was a point made about the Charlotte
point.
thing,
The
so.
point is still the fact that
Dewey Decimal System.
I felt that this was actually just that little bit better because it didn't have quite so much of the smoke to it.
See,
I
okay,
think
so
Hey,
this is amazing.
so when somebody gives it a 3.5 because it doesn't have the smoke that I was expecting, I get made fun of. But when Warwick says it, it's fine. He doesn't give him any shit.
I think he's teasing you, and he is.
No, I'm
and he's
teasing
right
you
to
for
do
not
so.
making fun of him for making fun of me. Wait, something like that.
Okay, so me, I prefer more smoke than peat.
Sure.
Talisker, or really Lagavulin. Lagavulin's my favorite Scotch of all time, and that one is a smoke beast.
Sure.
But I've had other ones that they call. In fact, there was one that was
monster?
called the Smoke Monster. Right? There was one.
Do they have one?
Well, they do.
Oh,
but it was like, it was just overdone with smoke, and that can be done. It's overdone with smoke and just tastes like stale smoke. So there is a way you can overdo that kind of thing. You can overdo the peat. And they say Peat Monster, and that really turned me off originally when we saw it, because I thought, oh man, it's going to be overdone.
See, that's where the bottle image got me.
Right, and we're like,
I would never have tried that unless.
But at that point, we're at an event where we're getting to taste all these scotches, and I'm like, that's the time to taste something like that, right? Sure. It just happened to be the favorite of the show, not this particular one, but the brand, the favorite of the show. That's some big.
So you're
props.
saying I have a decent taste for things?
Well, honestly. For that particular one, you and I both put it as the top of show, right?
All right.
Right?
I'm getting better.
So, but it was one of the most unusual scotches I've ever had.
I'm sure.
Cask strength with that much peat and not that much smoke, for me, would have been normally not enjoy. I loved it.
Sure.
If I find a bottle of the cask strength, I'm getting it.
Sure.
200 bottles, my wife's going to kick my ass, but I'm getting it.
$200.
So,
speaking of, do we want to guess on this? I don't want to guess because I think I already know.
Let's do it.
But I don't know what you got it for. So I think we should, to make it a little harder, we should just what you got it for. I'm assuming, was this purchased in Indiana?
No.
No.
I think that is a $85 bottle of whiskey.
I'm going to go with my guess is $79.99.
The exact same as Port Charlotte. It's a $75 bottle.
Oh, shit.
Or $70 bottle. Sorry, $70 bottle.
Oh, wow.
Fuck, make it even harder to buy. Well,
yes.
shit, now we got to buy both of them.
This is my point.
But now, you said this is like really kind of fairly freely available.
Correct.
Where this
Peat
was harder
Monster's
to find.
not. Correct. Peat Monster's a little hard. Binny's has Peat Monster. Nowhere else. Port Charlotte, you can find at Woodman's. You can find it at some other minor liquor stores. You can find it somewhat regularly. But
now,
not
what is the
Smoke
age
Monster,
of
Peat
this?
Monster. It doesn't say.
Is it a blend, though? It's not a blend.
It is a blend.
It is a blend? Okay.
It is a blended scotch.
So it's kind of the
say.
opposite of our other episode where they don't mention the age, but it's actually good, right?
True.
But so when you have a blended scotch that is so, they're going after that whole peaty flavor, like those are very specific blends then, right? In other words, it's like you're not picking multiple. I can't work out how to articulate this.
Are you drunk? Maybe
a little bit, but so the point is, it's like
It's not like we've been doing this forever.
That's a very specific list of whiskeys that you're going to pull from to create your blend.
So is that the master distillers?
No.
Like end all be all, or is this more of like,
what are you
hey,
talking about? Master Distillers is a sort of a brand that they call Master Distillers. Are you
no,
talking
I'm
about
just
them?
saying, like, so who?
What do you mean?
Like, how do you pick who picks the blends?
Oh, okay, the master distiller of this distillery.
Yes,
picks
that's
the
what I'm
blend.
saying. Yeah,
Yes.
so they're the ones that say, you know what, let's put a little of this, a little
Yes.
of that. They're the
Yes.
the mixologists, if you will.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know the.
They call them master distillers. That's enough of a term.
Yeah, as long as they're not master debaters. Anyway, so they're the ones that pick these now.
Yep.
Do they get a say in whether or not this actually gets put on the label? So, like, if I say it's a 4-year Scotch with a 6-year, do they say that? Do they get to say that? You know
Well,
what? Don't tell anybody what this is.
No, so I will say this. There are distilleries that do that. They get seconds from Lagavulin and Oban and the top tier Scotch places and don't mention where they're from because they just want to have their own. And there's other places that get from those distillers and say it because they've got no street cred and they want some street cred, so they say where they come from. And there's other times that I don't think Oban and Lagavulin and some of those other ones allow them to say that it's from their distillery.
Okay.
Because it's
That makes
usually a
sense.
second fiddle, third fiddle, things that they don't think is quality enough for theirs.
Sure.
They sell it off to other places that will blend it.
Gotcha.
Now, in addition to that, when they blend it, this year's blend may be different than next year's blend, depending on how many casks they get from this one. It's the master distiller's job to make sure that taste is still the same.
So, what are we thinking year-wise on this estimate?
I would say it's not very hot at all. I would say it's got a lot of flavor.
It's very smooth.
It's pretty smooth. So I would say we're talking 5 to 7 years, and I'm guessing completely. Obviously, I'm pulling this out of my ass. 5 to 7 year scotches. Maybe 10.
Really?
Yeah,
5 to 7.
I mean, this is, and it's funny when we first tried the Port Charlotte. Remember how you said it's like you felt a little bit of a burn initially, and I think as we've said in many episodes before, a lot of that burn comes from that first taste.
Yes,
sure.
Your third sip in, you pass it.
Yeah, by the time you get a few in, it's like your palate has become used to it. Like this has to me like zero burn.
Yeah,
Really?
I agree. It's very low.
I'm
Not
still
zero,
feeling
but it's
a
very
burn.
low.
Are
you?
Yeah.
But you like the burn.
Exactly. So I don't know if that's me mentally
like pulling out.
going, oh yeah, there it is. Oh yeah, or is it more of just a no, it's still there. It's still like, but some of these I've had some like the Port Charlotte. I think it was probably 4 or 5 second glass in. The burn was not as prominent.
Yeah.
So
because
I don't
it
know.
all
Is that
mellows
just my
out.
brain finally figuring shit out? Going, oh hey, there's other shit going on here.
Yeah.
Or-
Because your palate gets used to the burn and passes the burn, and then you can start tasting things.
Yeah.
And
then I pass the burn externally.
Yeah. Then when it comes out,
Yes.
which there's been a lot coming out with,
We had
with
to put a
Logan.
fan on.
We made him stand all the way over there.
Yeah, Logan ate some burritos tonight or some shit. Listen, we all love this scotch. I love this scotch. We've talked a lot about this scotch.
Yeah,
we
we've
have
gone
a lot
on.
to talk
Move
about
on to
with
the-
this
the
movie.
movie.
Very good.
So let's jump into this movie.
We did watch a movie on top of that.
Yes, we did.
Movie we watched is Pumpkinhead from 1988.
88, I
88.
believe, yes.
Yeah.
You are
88.
correct.
Lance Hendrickson and a plethora of other people that I'm sure maybe went on to.
I will tell you right now that I will watch anything that Lance Hendrickson is in.
I agree. I mean, it's not
He's been
it's
in
not a secret that
so
I am
many.
a huge Aliens fan.
Oh,
I was in the British
And tell
Aliens
me, Warwick,
fan club, by the way.
was Lance Hendrickson in that one?
He was.
He was.
He was Bishop.
I got a quick question. This was driving me nuts, and I didn't look it up because I know you guys are probably going to know this off the top of your head. What was the TV series he was in?
Oh, he was in Millennium.
Yeah. Which
And I remember the logo was
Chris Carter.
Right.
There was the follow-up from X Files.
that was a great TV series. by the way.
The very, very first episode, to me, rates on par to I say a lot of horror movies, but I mean it's like that's the movie where the person captures the various people and sews their mouth shut.
Oh.
It was like on
What
par
year
with
was that? What year?
like
That was
90,
early 90s.
94.
Okay. All right.
He was still technically, I think, in the last season of X Files, and he wanted to like say, "Oh, look, I can do more than X Files," and so he did.
But by that time, he was already involved well in all the other movies like Alien and Pumpkinhead and things like that.
yeah.
So he was already
Lance Henderson,
well
yeah.
established.
Oh, yeah. No, but I mean,
in movies.
Millennium was a fairly short-lived series. It didn't. I think it was
96 to 99.
early.
Yeah.
So it didn't like, and the last season was way more about like his character kind of mentally kind of falling apart and stuff. But the first season was like phenomenal TV.
Yeah, it was good. So let's get back to the movie. That we
sorry,
watched.
yeah. Pumpkinhead.
We had our Lance Hendrickson boner.
Do we have
fest
a trailer
there.
or something? Or?
No. I'll tell you in a bit. Go ahead.
So honestly, I remember seeing this probably as a kid. Not
Did we
in
rate
the
this
theaters.
movie yet?
We did not. Oh,
We
God.
didn't rate this
Let's do
movie.
that. Let's rate it.
Jesus Christ.
I think the Peat monster is going to my head.
I know. Because you started talking about this movie, like, what do I think about that? And I thought, wait a minute, we just got off the movie.
Just hold on a cotton damn minute.
Picking minute. I'll tell you what. All right. Yeah. For fuck's sake. I think I'm gonna have to.
Slim Pickens.
Yeah.
Thinking?
I am thinking. Oop.
All right. Yeah, this is probably. Yeah, I'm going single number. Fuck it. Phuket.
I'm going 2.
Ooh. All right. This is just easier on my life. You ready?
1.
2.
3.
What do we got?
What do you
Logan gives it a 4. I'm sorry.
He didn't even
Warwick,
know
I'm
what he-
looking at yours. And Warwick gave it a.
I gave it a 3.2.
Okay.
Lon gave it a 5.
Lon gives it a
Wow.
5.
This is in my top 5 movies.
That is
kid.
awesome. Okay, well, let's have Lon start off with this because I'm interested to hear
Okay,
his.
so-
Lance, other than your Lance Henriksen Bonerson, let's hear.
Well, it's not just Lance Hendrickson. It's also
which had his shirt off in their movie. But anyway,
yeah, he was. Well, this is back when he was younger and pretty svelte.
Actually,
I mean, this guy was pretty.
He doesn't age.
He
no,
doesn't
he doesn't.
age.
He was like 75 in this movie. by the
I'll
way.
tell you what. So,
He still looked like he was 25, body wise. Face.
I met Lance Hendrickson at these conventions.
Absolutely.
We
Yeah.
do a lot of horror conventions.
Super nice guy.
Such a nice guy. He walks around, no bodyguards or handlers or whatever, and he'll talk to everybody. And you come up, and he was, he's at these events and he charges for his signature and whatever and picture photo ops and stuff. But other times he's walking around, and if you say, "Hey, can we get a picture?" A lot of actors are, "Oh, well, hold on." He's like, "Yeah, man, let's get in there. Let's get a picture going." And he's just the best guy ever. Makes me
Good.
want to watch more of his films.
Yeah.
And
I like to hear that.
It's just, he's just an incredible guy. He's a fantastic guy. This was one of the best. Let's go back to the director, or not, the director of this one. His first directorial debut.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Deva.
Debut.
Did you say diva?
He said debut.
Deva.
That was Stan Winston, by the
Oh
way.
my God! So Stan Winston is.
Is this the same Stan Winston does masks?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
So-
why I was like, I'm like
That's why all of the effects were just so fucking amazing.
So
Okay.
here's the thing: is this movie was getting? I know this is probably somebody's trivia, but this movie was sent to him first, saying, "Look, we want you to do the character on this one. We don't know who the director is, we don't know the actors, we don't know anything else, but we want you to do the monster on this one." He looked at the script and he loved it so much. And he said, "You know what? I'd like to try directing this one. I love this character so much, this monster so much. I want to direct this one."
Okay.
So he hired another company to do the monster, and he overlooked the monster. So it's still a
Wow,
Stan Winston monster.
Was it? So it was his original idea. He just let somebody else take care of the actual.
No, it was
No,
someone
he
else's
contributed.
original
He
idea.
contributed, but it was not his original monster. But the story was so enthralled with him, he wanted this to be his directorial debut. And it was. It was phenomenal. It was a great movie. It was the best, one of the best 80s typical horror movies out there for a monster movie.
Yep.
It was no longer a killer. It was not a guy with a knife. It was something different. It was a monster. It was the coolest looking monster I've ever seen. It was one of the best monster makeups. The puppetry was great. The actor moments were great. The actor in costume parts were great, except for the one error that I'll talk about later. But it was phenomenal. There was nothing wrong with this movie. Some of the acting may not have been the best acting in the world. It didn't matter. The atmosphere was great. The fog, the bog, the Appalachian Mountains, the whole atmosphere of this thing was
The weird random witch in the middle of the forest.
in a bog in the middle of the forest. A bog in the Appalachian
Was it a
Mountains.
nilbog,
Doesn't
by
make sense, but it doesn't matter. And named her Haggis.
Yeah, that I thought was very
All right.
fun.
So, but it was the best freaking movie ever. It spawned a fan base that not a lot of movies get to see.
And 2 sequels, right?
Four sequels.
I have to
Okay.
say it was
And,
quite a bit.
and that's sort of the problem. That starts going awry there. It spawned comic books, video games. There was a lot that followed this movie after the movie was released, several years after the movie release. When this went up to the actor,
Lance Henriksen.
Lance Hendrickson, when it went to his hands, they said, "Lance, we want you to do this main character." He originally didn't want to do it because he hated the name Pumpkinhead. Right? When he got to the scene in the script where his son kind of raises up from the dead in his mind and says, "Daddy, why did you do this?" And it was such an emotional scene that Lance Hendrickson was like, "I'm doing this movie. I don't care how bad the title is. I'm doing this movie."
Excellent.
He loved doing it. Afterwards, he was a little like, he really regrets doing the sequels because they suck so bad, but he loved doing that movie mainly for that line that was in there. And this movie spawned, like I said, video games. And the reason I'm wearing this hat, can we cut away to my my scene here?
We can.
I got the audio coming through too, so I don't know if you'll hear us as much, but... Oh, but you guys can't hear it, though.
No, we can't hear it.
You know what? We should play... The Misfits, one of my favorite bands, did a song called Pumpkinhead.
Of course.
That was based on the movie...
Pumpkinhead?
Pumpkinhead. Let me do it where we can hear this. I want to hear this.
Well,
Can you hear
let me switch back to this. Just make it so it goes to your local
Right.
audio.
I know.
I
wanted them to hear it.
So ultimately we'll... Oh.
Here, I'll
Go full screen on it.
Anybody know the Misfits? I hope you do. If you don't like the Misfits, you're not my friends. Now, look at this. Come on.
Well, now we're just watching the movie.
Yeah. All right, I won't overdo it there. But the point is, this movie was loved by many people. This is one of the larger fan base for cult movies ever. It's right up there with Halloween. It's right up there with any other movie you can name that's off the top of your head. And I'm not talking, it's way above things like Killer Clowns from Outer Space or, Attack of the Killer Donuts or anything.
I agree. So like, I'll go next as the person that technically went lowest. But I still gave it...
Did you go? No, you didn't. He went lowest.
No, I went 3.2.
Yeah, he was lowest.
3.2?
I gave it a 3.2.
We don't know this guy.
You motherfucker. Wait, what, Logan, what did you give it then?
I give it a 4.
So,
Warwick.
But let me explain.
How would you?
Let me explain.
I don't even know if we want you to explain.
So I give it a 3.2.
Peer pressure, bitch.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
So 3.2, I gave it a 3.2 because it's like I love this movie. I mean, this is truly probably like
this movie, but not enough to give it a 3.2. Fuck.
That means it's okay.
Yeah. Wait,
Okay.
what did you
Dick.
give the last one?
I gave it a 1 point something.
That's a 1
Yeah,
point
so you
something.
barely gave it double?
But he gave
it was like 1.3. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So again, this is like I love this movie. I think it's great. I think the thing
Tough love.
The thing that is so cool about this movie is you do have those very, very heartfelt moments with his kid.
Yeah.
I think the kid is just is like freaking amazing in this movie. Very Jerry Maguire.
Because of the glasses.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Coke bottle.
Yeah, asshole. But I think the only reason why I gave it less than a clearly the
You
highest
didn't even
score,
give it a 4.
the highest score that you guys give, is it just follows those 80s horror tropes just so fucking closely that
Explain that.
the
That's
whole
a bad thing?
it's not a bad thing.
He's uncomfortable that I'm that close to his face.
I am uncomfortable. But in other words, it's like it's not a bad thing, but it just I don't think it elevates it to that 4 or 5 rating for me because it's
What's the horror tropes that make it not reach that? Because you're saying horror tropes are a good thing. What's the bad side of that?
No. But what I'm saying is just it's like the whole thing of it's like really. So I'm a group of teenagers that clearly are in their late 20s, early 30s. That decide that I'm going to stop off at this corner, convenience store to get supplies, and then that is the place that I'm going to stop and start riding my bike, as opposed to the 10 miles away or whatever it is is the cabin. Like, why would that be the place that they decide to ride the bike?
So
That's what you're going with?
So
That's why they ride the bike there?
I hear where he's coming from now, and honestly, that could have probably been fixed with a single line or two in the script. They could have said something like, "Oh my God, look at these hills here. We gotta ride these." You know what I mean? Like something simple like that.
I agree. If there was some reason, because it's and again, maybe they always go to this cabin, and this is a regular thing that they do all the time, and this is the place that they always stop off at. But the point is, like, you don't really hear that. All you know is they're heading to this cabin, and so what is the instigation that enables them that makes them go, I know, I'm going to take my bike off the trailer and I'm going to ride right here.
I don't know if you guys have seen this movie, but he does at one point. The older brother, the dickhead.
Yes.
Says, I don't know about you can stay here with the vegetables, meaning all the kids were looking at the vegetable stand stuff. You can stay with the vegetables, but I want to ride. Says, I'm itching to ride. I got to ride. So he's been waiting, and the brother says, well, don't you want to wait till we get to the cabin? He's like, I can't wait. I got to get out there.
Well, and so
that's all. What else do you need?
That is called convenient riding.
It might be, but you know what?
Now,
it's a fucking
and the other
horror
thing too
movie.
is, if you wanted to be nitpicky, you could also say, well, then why did the kid sit down and let the dog run out the door? Like, you could go
because he's
route.
A kid.
But why wouldn't you like close the door and lock it if you know? Hey,
because he's a kid.
My dad told me stay inside, so I don't want.
Dad left his kid to run a store while there were teenagers outside with motorcycles.
So yes, yeah. So that was my.
It's the country. It's the Appalachian Mountains. Who gives a fuck?
I get where Warwick's coming from, but
I don't.
In all honesty, when I first saw this movie, probably
and I love this movie
in the I'd say late '80s, early '90s. It was out of theaters. I didn't get to see it in the theaters because I was too young. But
fuck you.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to make myself sound younger than I actually am. No, but that was one of the. This was a movie that honestly I have not probably seen it since then. But I remember seeing it back then and going, that was way better than I thought it was going to be. And I was totally anticipating when we first started talking about possibly doing this. I'm like, I have not fucking seen this. I'm anxious to see this.
I remember renting this on VHS.
Yeah.
Because this is one of those classic cases, and we kind of talked about it in the previous episode of.
Make sure you go watch this.
This was one of those great movies from the 80s where the cover art on the VHS tape just screamed, grab me and take me home and watch me.
That was the girl's face with the claw coming out to scratch her forehead.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when you're
because you saw the big monster claws, you think, wow, there's a cool-ass monster in this
right.
one.
It just, this screamed a classic.
But yeah, I just, and when I watched it again, I kept going, son of a bitch, man. Like, I was, and now this was me trying to be, like, scrutinizing of it. And I'm watching it going, they got the lighting right, because guess what? We're in a home that doesn't have electricity. All we have is firelight. Fire. I mean, they had a fire. And I'm like, okay, they did it. And it wasn't flickering, granted, but I'm like, fuck, that's good lighting there, and then as he's going outside, they made sure to make it look like it was moonlight,
right?
Because obviously they don't have street lights,
right.
out there.
And they had a good amount of fog going on in the mist.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, I was trying to nitpick it, and I'm like, son of a bitch. Now, my biggest nitpick was the acting. There were some people, Lance Henriksen did a great job.
He did a fantastic job.
The kid did a great job.
Yeah.
Yep.
The oldest brother, I wanted to fucking punch him in the face. I'm like, you're a horrible actor.
But
he's
a famous actor. I mean, he's a relatively popular actor.
He reminded me of the guy from Hellraiser, the one that she ends up like
Hellraiser.
Trying to.
Yeah.
I hated Hellraiser.
But that's where I'm just kind of like, just fucking die. Like, I don't care about anybody but myself, and then by the end of the movie, I do care about
get it
people.
because there was some of the girls, the one that became a vegetable as soon as the kid died.
The Jesus girl.
She was annoying as fuck, but she got killed first, so I was happy.
Yeah.
So you look at the bright side.
But
No. I'm not downing this.
It's actually really funny, and I don't know whether, and I can't remember who picked Candy Corn as our second movie, or I guess first movie, depending
on how you watch these.
But I think it's funny. there's so many similarities between the two movies in terms of like the resurrection of in order to be able to create this creature that someone dies and then
yes,
resurrection.
There is a revenge.
Revenge.
Yeah.
Right.
But the other thing I thought was funny was also like the lead bad teenager, like both of those, the guy who was the cop's son from Candy Corn and this one, it's like they both had that same persona of like
the tough guy with the motorcycle,
the tough guy with a
leather jacket in 90-degree weather probably.
Yeah. Right.
And I mean,
I'll just say Pumpkinhead was first.
Oh yeah,
or before Candy Corn.
Absolutely, and the point
that's
is
why Candy Corn did their
30 years.
characters like
right. And again, it's like there's been many other movies that have had that same thing. Where ultimately it's always he always gets his comeuppance at the end and all this kind of stuff.
Although he was one of the last ones to die in Pumpkinhead.
Mm-hmm.
I guess in Candy Corn too, right?
Yep.
Right.
So
save the best for last.
Sure. Makes the revenge that much sweeter.
The thing I thought was actually really funny about this was, and again, I really like this movie. I've seen it many times.
But such a low rating.
Not a low rating, 3.2. That's
3.2 is barely above.
If you gave
average.
it a 3.5, I'd say, all right, you're up
not
there with us.
Even a 4.
You're not even up there. Like,
not even.
But I do
a
think
4.
the fact that like so even in the Hicks,
he's just
there is
ignoring
still
that.
there is still class
He's just
structure.
bypassing that whole.
There
thing.
is
the fact that so you have Lance Henriksen and his son.
So do you consider him middle class?
And then
that's what I was thinking too.
Flour sack children.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, he's got water he can wash his face with. The other one, the girl was like filthy in her face, and then as she's laying in bed, I'm like, she still hasn't washed her face.
Yep.
It's just so funny.
And they're all wearing flour sacks. All the boys have clothes,
like,
but the girls.
God, she's got to have a yeast infection.
Yeah.
It was just so funny. It was just so funny. I was like, again, you have poor, and then you have like dirt
super
poor.
poor.
Yeah. You have like, Pa, what am I supposed to do?
Right.
And
right.
I totally get that. It's just the timing felt different. I think almost they should have gone a little bit earlier with the beginning instead of 1957. It should have been maybe like in the 40s, and then this was like in the 70s, maybe. Because I'm sorry, but in
this
'88,
was supposed to be the 80s.
I don't know how many people were still living by washing their face from rainwater, right?
Hold on. This is the Appalachian Mountains.
You're an Appalachian Mountain.
This is what I'm. This. You could go up there today and find people like that.
Really? You think?
It's the Appalachian
I have not traveled,
freaking mountains.
So. But for a different reason, I still somewhat agree with you in terms of the.
Agree with me, bitch.
So Lance Henriksen in the 50s looked like he was like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And now, in modern day,
it's been a rough go.
It's the 80s. It's like Lance Henriksen is one of these guys where it's like he has not aged, but he's looked in his 60s
for like 40 years
since the 80s.
Yeah. When he was 20, he looked 60. Yeah. When he was 80, he looked 60.
Yeah.
Yes, that is true.
I think he looked younger than that personally, but still, he's got that weathered look to him.
Yes,
I agree.
He has a weathered look. As I said, I mean, it's just...
He had the great voice, though, for this movie, too.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, he's just got a great voice in general.
Country...
But also, I love the fact that we totally skated past, was it Immaculate Conception?
What?
Where's the mother?
He sees the mom's tombstone.
Yeah, but you can assume that something happened to Mom.
Well, of course you can, because she's not there. But
because that's not important to the story where Mom went. You think it is?
It's important, but it's also, think about it, Disney never explains their shit.
No.
And 90% of the times most of the time it's, I think, the dad's gone. Right.
But that's because it needs to be like a G rating, and they can't show.
They can't get rid
of
they're
like
someone being like hacked.
He put his P in her V to get X here.
Unless you're a deer, then they'll take the mom right out.
Yeah,
front.
take it out. Rat-tat-tat-tat. Which
everywhere.
I heard they're making a Bambi horror movie.
Oh,
so
I hope so.
We're kind of going off topic on that, but
hope so.
No, I think we need to, this movie was fun. We've kind of joking and we're kind of going back and forth, but I think that this is definitely a movie that any horror fan needs to see.
100%.
Despite the name, They could have called it anything else. They could have called it something.
Where are the
completely.
fucking pumpkins?
So
what?
Whoa!
What?
That shows somebody didn't pay attention here.
I don't think you fucking watched this movie.
Holy Testicle Tuesday!
There was a total reason why they did it. So the original movie title for this movie was supposed to be Vengeance the Demon.
That makes sense.
Because it was a demon that was
I agree.
But they said, no, wait a minute. Pumpkinhead's catchier, more memorable. Everybody remember Pumpkinhead. And the reason he's called Pumpkinhead, I can't believe you don't know this. I used to call you my friend. Well, if it is, I'm blowing it for you guys
go
then.
for it.
Where did they find Pumpkinhead's corpse? Where did they dig him up?
Well, clearly he's the body of the last person that
That's not what I'm asking. Where did they dig up Pumpkinhead?
And what were around
in the ground
where they were digging?
In a fucking pumpkin patch. He was born of a pumpkin. When he's up there in the big hill, he kicks off 3 pumpkins so he can dig up the grave because there's pumpkins because he's in a pumpkin patch.
Why would he be in the pumpkin patch?
I'm done with you. We're divorced. I'm done with you.
He needs explanation to get it at 3.7. No, but I that was one of the things that, I was actually, the only thing that made me think, because I originally assumed he was on fire. That body is what they were originally taking. But as soon as, and I'm giving obviously spoilers here, at the end when they are starting to bury it, I saw hair, and I go, that's got to be Lance Henriksen then.
Well, the whole point is, in order to resurrect Pumpkinhead, you basically are sacrificing yourself.
Correct, because it's your blood and the blood of the person you're avenging.
Yes.
Right. So in other words, it's like, you have to die. So like, even if you go back to the beginning of the movie, the guy who's knocking at his door saying, it's whoever he wronged,
came after him.
That's Pumpkinhead.
Yeah. So I'm gonna let that lead into an actual trivia that I have.
Let's go.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
So that main character's name was Clayton.
Yep.
And you sound like you know what the answer to this is. That character was actually a tieback to a very famous movie franchise named Halloween. Who was that character?
Explain the first part of your question with Clayton. What about Clayton?
Clayton was the original guy.
Who is that? How does he tie back to the Halloween franchise?
From the 1950s?
No.
You mean by the name?
I'm saying the main character himself at that point in time, not in 1950s.
Wait, the main character...
The person acting, the actor.
Lance Henriksen?
Lance Henriksen.
No. Clayton. So in the very beginning of the movie.
The person who played Clayton.
In the very beginning of the movie.
Okay.
Don't look it up.
No, I'm trying to figure out who the fuck you're talking about.
He's the person coming and knocking on the door at the very beginning of the movie.
Let me in.
Oh, at the very beginning of the movie?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right, now I know who you're talking about.
And this is something that I'm going to be proud of myself on this one. I caught this immediately, but I'll let you guys ponder on this.
So your question is what does
how
that
does
character...
he tie to the Halloween series?
Was he the sheriff?
No, he was not.
He couldn't have been the Shape.
When I say his name, you guys are going to go, are you fucking kidding me?
The actor's name. You know what? You looked up the fucking credits to find the movie
No.
in the fucking...
I immediately knew this, and that's what I was like. Okay. I had to double check it in the credits, but his name is Dick Warlock.
Really?
That is but he goes by Richard Warlock in this, but that is Dick Warlock.
Wow.
Who played Michael Myers in Halloween 2.
No shit.
Yep.
So I was right. He was the Shape.
Yes, he was. Yes.
Fuck me, that's a good one.
Because the funny thing was the very first scene, all of a sudden I go, that looks like Dick Warlock. I'm like, that's not him. And then all of a sudden I'm like, that's got to be him. I go to IMDb, I'm like, motherfucker. I was right.
All right.
So high five to myself on that one. So
nice.
there's your trivia on that
Very
one.
good. That's a great one. What are we at on time, by the way?
We're at about 54 minutes. So we got a little bit of time.
Should
but
we jump into trivia? All right, I
Yeah.
got trivia. Do you have
That's
trivia?
why. That's why I worked
because
it in
you
there.
hated this movie, you fucking
No,
bitch.
I like to. I didn't have time to.
Somebody was too busy.
I have a life. That involves work.
All right. So there were other famous people in this movie.
There were.
Okay.
Does anybody know? We're like, all right.
Lance Henriksen.
Lance Henriksen.
One of the hillbilly sack children became somebody very famous. Does anybody recognize
Son of a bitch! I just should.
the hillbilly sack children?
Was it one of the females?
It was one of the females.
I had a feeling, but I did not look it up. Go for it.
Because I'm going to pronounce her name horribly, but... Anyone?
No.
Mayim Bialik?
Oh, really?
She was one of the little girls in there before she did Blossom.
Yes.
And obviously...
Wow.
God, good
She
call
was one of
on
the
that
children.
One. Good call.
She was one of the children in there.
That's crazy.
Isn't
And
that
I hate
awesome?
you for that.
That's a
but-
good one. Yeah. You didn't know that one? You knew that one.
Honestly, when I saw her, I'm like, yeah, she looks familiar. And then,
And you
because
didn't
I
look it
focused
up. You
more
didn't
on
check it out.
the older person, the older one.
Yeah, but as
which
soon
was
as you
not
see her, you're like, holy shit, that's
Yep,
Blossom.
that totally.
Or
makes
for
sense.
younger people, they'd go, oh, she's the girl from...
Yes, from Blossom.
Okay.
So I've got some fun ones, which I'm sure you're gonna love.
Is this
Okay.
going to be license plates?
Yeah, there's a
I-
lot
I-
of
You know
license
what?
plate in this one.
It's so funny when I watched it on Saturday.
You go, I should write those down,
I
but
should write
fuck
those
this
down.
movie. I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
Listen, even I did that because we're going past, and my wife was like, don't you want to rewind and check out the license plate? I said, no, fuck him.
Well, that's
I was
bad
gonna
that
say,
even
fuck
your wife
Logan.
is picking up on my fucking bullshit.
Oh, yeah?
Sorry.
Because she knows because I pause and rewind and pause and rewind. She's like, oh, God. I'm like, wait a minute, but I didn't see this scene a little bit. Whatever. And she's like, oh, aren't you going to get the license plate?
Sure.
No, fuck Logan.
Yeah, I love it.
All right, let's hear it.
So, what was the license plate
Of the Corvette.
of the truck
There was
that
a
was carrying the
There was a
motorcycles?
Corvette.
There was a Corvette.
I thought it was a Trans Am. It was a Corvette.
No, that's a Corvette. Old school Corvette. I have a story about a Corvette. That
Actually,
same
it was a C3.
Oh, wow.
C3 Corvette.
But the license plate was not C3. So
No. I have no idea.
I don't either. I didn't pay attention.
It was
purposely.
actually a pretty prominent one. It was Moto Man.
That is right.
It's the only
That's
reason
right.
I was like, that's a pretty good
I
one.
actually did
the,
know that.
And the Corvette was like, oh fuck, what was a similar kind of like personalized number plate?
No, actually, it was not.
Really? I thought
No.
it was like.
Let's hear it.
It was LMY, and I believe it was 865. 856, I believe.
Look at him.
I'm
Look at
sorry.
him.
I'm sorry.
He's got
I had
these
to take- I had to-
shots,
854, sorry. It was 854.
so we could zoom in on it.
Yep,
and check
just
it
to
out.
make sure I get everything correct, because that's how.
That was a
you
good
know, retentive I am.
1980s Corvette.
Yes.
Yes.
Very sloped, very
Let's see.
wedge.
I do have a shot of all the kiddos here. Oh god, that's totally her on the left now. My MBL.
You can see her. She'll
Yeah.
work, so Warwick can see.
She's definitely blossoming.
You know what?
Yep.
There's other shots when they're circling the kid saying the poem.
Yeah.
There's a good shot of her there. Really good shot of her there.
Yeah. It's a good time.
It's so fucking funny though. Again, it's like when they go to the store. Do they think that's like going to Disneyland? Like, oh my god, we get to go to the store.
Well,
we
if-
can't buy anything, but like,
Since we're going to be sect or racist about this whole thing, yeah, maybe it is. So this movie, just for my trivia a little bit, was based on a poem.
Yes, it was.
There was a poem that was written called Pumpkinhead, a long time ago, that they used as the basis for this.
oh really?
I read that it was not the intended basis for
It
this, but
absolutely
it was inspired by.
Inspired by, but they even used the poem in the movie.
Yes, they do.
When the kids were circling the
Okay.
one that was scared, remember at the fruit
Yep.
Which is
stand,
so
farm
fucking
stand?
stupid. It's like scared of what? Anyway,
I'm gonna read you the poem.
Oh, he's gonna. I knew it.
Because this is really what they said and think.
So,
But they only said
I'm
the
gonna.
first
well,
few
I'll throw a
lines of it.
trivia in there while we're at it. Who was
Okay.
it written by? Not
Oh,
for you,
I
not for you,
know
because I know you've
'cause
got
I
it
the
right.
poem here.
Walt Whitman.
He's not gonna.
It was
know.
two first
He's not
names.
gonna know.
I'll give you that much.
He's not gonna know it. He doesn't
Sam.
like the movie.
It says it right
Sam,
at the beginning
Sam.
of the
He thinks you're stupid for liking this
Justin.
movie.
Peter.
Pizza. Yeah, he was the Little Caesars guy.
Would you guys like to hear the poem?
Yes, let's hear it.
Sure.
Now
I'm
I want
I'm
some.
in
I
them.
want some. You better fucking Shakespeare this shit. Let's go.
Keep away from Pumpkinhead unless you're tired of living. His enemies are mostly dead. He's mean and unforgiving.
Just rolls
Laugh
aside.
at him and you're undone, but in some dreadful fashion. Vengeance he considers fun and plans it with a passion. Time will not erase or blot or plot that he has brewing. It's when you think that he's forgot, he'll conjure up your undoing. Bolted doors and windows. Oop, shit. Bolted doors and windows barred. Guard dogs prowling in the yard. Won't protect you in your bed. Nothing will from Pumpkinhead.
Quoth the raven, nevermore.
It's like Shakespeare, really.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I got a little. I think somebody got a little pee-pee. Oh,
that was like my mic drop.
Yes.
I didn't mean to terrify you.
That was good stuff.
That was scary.
Vincent Price ain't got shit on you.
No, he doesn't.
The funk
So-
of 40,000
Darkness falls
No,
across the land.
I've got another one.
I think that it's, I do like that it was inspired by the
poem.
The poem. That was something that I thought, oh yeah, they totally took this, and then I read about it, and they're like, no, it was just we just kind of liked the idea and we kind of ran with it. And I was like,
it's an overall concept they took. They
Right, because
didn't-
even if you listen, obviously you listen to the poem, it's like inspired by is about all there is. I mean, because there's
Pumpkinhead
really,
could be anything.
other than the fact that he's scary. There's nothing in the poem that really points to the resurrection or
Correct.
everything you have to do.
It does talk about vengeance.
now, does this not?
But that's it.
The only thing I got, which is funny because it came out a year later, was I got vibes of Pet Cemetery.
But that's just because
The fog and the graveyard.
and someone who's
and
dead and
The
how you
resurrecting the mom.
Yeah,
resurrecting the mom.
Yeah, I think that's.
He should have resurrected the mom, which is interesting. But the funny thing was, as I'm watching, I'm going, oh, Pet Cemetery had to come out before this. No, it came out after.
It did, because
and I was like, holy shit! So this, that to me gave it even more, and that's why I boosted it to a 4, is because of the fact that this to me then was like an original idea. And granted, you could tell, I guess it had a $3.5 million budget, but I honestly still think this should be in any horror fan's repertoire.
Totally agree. If you haven't seen or have Pumpkinhead in your collection, I don't know if I can consider you a horror fan.
And if you don't like it, let's talk about it.
Well, I think
Let's fight. We're
I think to clarify, I think the point is it's like in list of the 80s horror movies. It definitely is in the top 10 of movies that you need to watch as part of your horror knowledge for the 80s.
All right, you're redeeming yourself a little bit there. You're redeeming yourself a little bit there.
You couldn't get any dumber.
It's in my top 5.
Totally redeem
but
yourself.
That's cool to say top 10. I totally agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, and I said this is truly the 20th or 30th time I've watched this movie.
Wow.
Agreed. I'm right there with you. So if you watch it that much, you
I
gave
feel-
it a
I
3
feel
point
out of-
fucking 2?
I feel like I'm out of the loop. I've only seen this 2, maybe 3 times.
Really?
And you gave it a higher rating than this jackhole.
Because I'm more subjective.
Because I think of all the stuff
So
that
you
I've
say-
watched already, and I'm going to compare it to that. No. How did you feel when you finished it? I'll give it a 4. But
Let's hear it. Let's hear it. How did you feel when you finished it?
yeah, can't finish.
Were you like, wow, that was really awesome? Were you like,
And you know what? I'm going to fuck these guys over, and I'm going to give them bad.
or were you like, I'm going to go get some popcorn now?
I would not say
That's my point.
Or candy corn?
No, I mean, I think it's that weird thing of because I have seen it so many times, and this is definitely again in that list of movies that if I'm flicking through TV channels, not that I do that anymore, but like flicking through TV channels and it's on, I'll watch it from
if it's on, I guess I'll donate my time to this movie by watching
But I'll give it a
What do you mean?
3.5.
If it comes on, I'll watch it. That's what you give like a movie that's a 2 point nothing.
No, that's what I fucking give Shawshank Redemption, which I think is one of the best movies ever made.
You would give Shawshank a 3.5?
Wow,
No.
you're a dick.
Oh.
No, I would give Shawshank way better.
Okay. Yeah.
No, I mean,
Honestly, though, I want to know. What would you give Shawshank?
I'm interested as well.
out of 5 barrels,
Well, yeah. No, out of the 7 barrels
You
we
got to raise the
normally
barrels,
don't
too. I
have.
want to see this. Just
I would easily give Shawshank a 4 point.
So you're harsh. You're harsh.
I may be
Your
like-
favorite
like
movie you're not even
4.5.
giving a 5?
No, Silence of the Lambs is probably my favorite movie.
Would that get a 5?
Quite probably, yeah.
Probably. Not necessarily.
Okay.
No,
Just probably.
I think it would.
So-
it would get a 5.
Oh,
So you
thank
give Shawshank a
Thank you for
4.5, but
committing.
you only give this a 3.5.
No, 3.2.
3.2, sorry.
Not even a 3.5. This is my point.
So, no,
Logan, Logan,
you're entitled to your
Logan-
opinion, but doesn't mean we have to agree with it.
All right.
We're getting
way
over there.
All right, I did have a couple
We'll
more
save
trivia.
this for the next
little
episode.
trivia, little
of
trivia,
maybe.
quick one.
Oh, he's got a trivia.
Where's Pumpkinhead buried?
In the pumpkin field.
Fuck you. I'm asking a real fan of the movie.
Was there a name for it?
Yes, there was.
Oh,
Haggis,
shit.
the witch, told him, "Do you know of? That's where
Fudge.
you'll find him in a grave that looks like it has
She
no
was very hard
earthly
to
business
understand,
being
too, so I'm
there."
going to blame it on that. I should have probably
No
listened
business being in the fucking pumpkin field.
with subtitles.
I love the way she says too. You bet Ed Harley.
Ed
Thanks for
Harley.
coming
Yeah, she
by,
said Ed
Ed
Harley.
Harley.
A little too many times.
I know what you're
Isn't
looking
that the name
for,
of the
Ed
isn't that a
Harley.
clothing line? Ed Harley?
Ed Harley? Ed Hardy.
Hardy. Oh,
Hardy.
That's
Yeah.
close.
Still
That's
looking for the name of where the
Um,
Pumpkinhead's buried.
close. Shit. I honestly don't know.
Razorback Hollow.
Oh, no, I would not have. No.
You don't remember?
What
No
the fuck
place
was it called that?
Razorback Holler. Because they're in the Appalachian Mountains. There's
And
no
there's
sense
snakes.
to them naming
Yeah.
things.
There might be one
Razorback
Razorback
Holler.
that some guy saw along the way. Yeah.
And,
No,
and
he shaves his back and there's
Yeah.
like a razor on his back.
With a razor, yeah. And he just he leaves it.
my last little bit of trivia.
Sure.
The dog
Yep.
that almost got killed or whatever. Oh, are you upset about this? Because
Pepper?
you
I
almost
am
had
so
it.
far.
Was a very famous dog.
He was also in.
Was he Benji?
No.
No. He was also in.
I'm a Magway.
Oh, he was in.
He was in-
Yeah, he was in.
Oh,
Gremlins.
that was him?
Yeah.
No
And
shit.
he was in Gremlins.
Good call.
Do you
on
know
that
what? Do you know
one.
what that
All
dog's
right.
name is?
Puddles.
Close.
Piddles?
Mushroom. That's it.
Mushroom.
Insignificant, but the point is, he's a famous dog named Mushroom.
No shit.
That's been in a few
All right.
movies. He wasn't just in that one, but that's the other famous
So
movie that he was
Gremlins?
in.
That's when
Was he
most of the
obviously
budget
he
went.
had to been was he older in Gremlins? No,
No,
Gremlins
no.
was 80.
Gremlins was 89, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then yeah.
But the thing is, he was, like when they had the string of Christmas lights, and he got hung up, and he's like,
So we can say he killed the little boy
"What?
in Pumpkinhead. He killed the boy. If he
Well,
had
he's-
not run out, that boy would not have been out there.
He is certainly the cause of the death of the.
I would say ancillarily caused the death.
No.
Yeah,
That's
ancillarily.
we're getting Peat Monster
All right,
coming into
all
town.
right.
All right. I
Big
think we're gonna
yes
cut
to
it off
Peat
there.
Monster. Big yes to the Pumpkinhead. One of my top 5
Regardless
movies
of my
all time.
3.2.
Check
Big,
it out.
big yes to Pumpkinhead.
Definitely check it out.
It's definitely should be on
Top 5.
any horror fans list of movies to watch, especially if you're trying to go through your 80s classic horror movies.
Definitely up there.
Logan, that was it. Just definitely up there. What do you
Definitely up
think?
there.
Give me your thoughts.
No, it's
I'm not interested in this.
It's one
guy's
of those
thoughts. I'm
films
interested in your
where
thoughts.
I honestly rewatching it go, okay, shit, I should have been watching this a lot more all along.
Yep. And I've watched it probably as much as Warwick has, if not more. But you're into it after only 2 times, 3 times?
Maybe 3 times. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I've probably seen it on WGN or some shit at some point, so I would say 3 to max, maybe 4.
And yet somebody who only considers it a 3.2 watched it 20 some times.
Yeah.
All that tells you is I like a lot of different movies.
I feel bad for Dove. Anyway, you're so picky.
Anyway,
Well,
On
thank
that
you for
note-
watching. Thank you for coming. Thank you for
Yaka, yaka.
watching this train wreck of a show. But you know what?
No.
No,
This is a
honestly,
fucking great
this
show.
is one of my favorite shows. This is one of my favorite
Yeah,
shows.
definitely check it out.
yeah.
Go
All right,
see it.
folks.
Anyway,
Like, comment, subscribe.
comment, like, subscribe what he said, but in a different order.
just different order because he's got to be different. Hey,
Which is
4,
way
3.2.
better.
It is better.
Then what Logan said.
A lot
The entire
better.
world used to be pink. I'm
Social
just
media,
telling.
social media,
Social
media.
medias. You got Sam above
And
Lon
get
there.
us out.
Hello, amore.
Go.